Thank God for the lighthouse. Lord, I owe my life to Him. You see, Jesus is the lighthouse. And from the rock we did, and shone His light of love around me. And I didn't see just what it wasn't for the lighthouse. Tell me where was my defeat? Precious God, we thank you. I feel a small virtue. Now, you know when I say I feel a virtue, that means I feel the Spirit of God revealing something to me. And it never lies. Now, some are on their way, and those of you that are here, I have not spoken with any of you, but I felt a small virtue, an anticipation that God is about to allow me to say something that somebody needs to hear. I just want to teach for a few minutes on when the heart speaks. You know, a lot of times when people are confronted or discussions are had or made, a lot of times someone may say, I didn't say that, or I don't understand why you're talking to me like that. But the truth of the matter is, you didn't say it verbally, but your heart did. Because you don't say it, doesn't mean you didn't say it. Because you don't express it, it doesn't mean you don't feel it. And because no one can see it, it doesn't mean it's not there. You see, in the Old Testament, God dealt with the people on an outer surface. He gave them different rules and laws outwardly. And if they were to abide by them outwardly, it would show that they were the children of God. But then he said, but in the New Testament, under the New Covenant, he says, I will take my laws and put them in your heart. In the Old Covenant, if a man committed adultery, he would be stoned. But you had to catch him. You had to catch him in the act. But in the New Testament, Jesus said, if a man looks upon a married woman with the wrong intentions in his heart, Jesus said, you committed adultery already. But I didn't touch her, not with your hands. I didn't touch him, not with your hands. I didn't hurt her, not with your hands. I did not hurt him, not with your hands, but you did touch, you did hurt. How? In your heart. If you've done it in your heart, you've already done it.
Come on now.
Because from the abundance, from the center of your soul, your inward man, the mouth speaks.
Yeah.
You see, you can say a lot of things with your mouth. People worship God with their lips, but he says their hearts are far from him.
Yes, Lord.
But what comes out of your heart is coming out of your mouth. I feel a virtue. Example, you may be in a conversation and somebody may say, do you love me? And you might say, yes, I love you. But there's an inner thought in your heart that says, but not like that. So the yes, I love you means nothing. The real answer is not like that. I feel a virtue. Because in your heart is your true expression. And when the heart speaks, it doesn't lie. It's expressing exactly what's inside of you. However, everybody does not always have the liberty to speak their heart for one reason or another. Some won't speak their heart because they don't want to hurt anybody. So they won't tell it how they really feel. Some are afraid to express themselves due to certain situations in life, a fear of being rejected or not wanting to cause an argument. So they go along with the flow, but the heart is saying something different. Amen. Open rebuke. To correct someone, to tell the truth, is better than secret love in a given situation. So sometimes you may say, well, I didn't want to hurt you, but there are times, especially when you're dealing with friendship, relationship, disagreement, listen, it's not about not wanting to hurt, it is about coming up with the truth and solving the situation. Amen. Tell the truth. Express your heart. That doesn't mean that in every situation you speak your whole mind. But at the proper given time when you must speak, then speak your heart. David was anointed king of Israel because King Saul had sinned. King Saul was the first king over the people of God. And he had sinned against God. And God took his spirit from Saul and gave the anointing to David. It was David who killed Goliath. It was David who was the psalmist. He wrote most of the Psalms. Handsome young man, strong, courageous. He killed a lion and a bear. He fought Goliath. He led the armies into victory after victory. And King Saul became jealous of David. For what reason? No reason. Because the Spirit of God was with him, David, and no longer with Saul. And times before, when an evil spirit would come upon King Saul, David was a musician. David would come and play the harp. And his anointing music would move the spirit away. Music is spirit. Be careful what type of music you listen to. Music can put you in a mood. And David playing holy music, the evil spirit would leave. But one day, David was sitting there. And Saul looked at him, and Saul took a spear and tried to kill David with it. David moved to the side, and he ran out the room. Saul had an older son named Jonathan who loved David at first sight in his heart. They were friends. But they didn't understand why King Saul kept trying to kill David. Saul tried to set him up. He had two daughters, one older and one young and kind of fickle. So he said, you can marry my younger daughter, but you got to get me some 30 to 60 foreskins of the enemy. That's when they circumcise the male flesh and the skin that comes off of it. Go get me about 30 or 60 of them from the enemy. In other words, he had to go kill the enemy in order to get it. David went back and brought it back. So he gave David his youngest daughter to marry, hoping that she would help him trap David. Everybody watch out for the trap. Amen. Real love is love. Yeah. Without a trap. Amen. I feel a virtue. Come on. Real love is love. Come on, And when there's real love, there's true confession from the heart. I love you because I say that I love you. And that you're not forcing me to do so. And sometimes it can cause problems because sometimes people will say, listen, if you can't love me for the way I am, then it can't work. And sometimes, guess what? Can't work. It all depends. But you have to be honest. Because when you force love, and somebody goes along with that, it may last for a season, but you're causing somebody to be what they're not, and it's not right. It's not right. And you may get together for years, and all of a sudden it falls apart. Or the person that's been hiding their true emotion comes out with it, and you say, you changed. No, they've not changed. They've never been themselves. Amen. I feel a virtue. Because they suppress their heart and their real feeling. How can two walk together except they what? Agree. But you can't agree if you don't put it all on the table. Amen. So King Saul said, marry my daughter, hoping that she would be a snare. But she learned to love David. She grew in the relationship, and when it came time to kill him, the king said, we're going to come tonight and we're going to kill David. Make sure he's lying down. She went back and told David, they're coming to get you. So she helped and let him out a window. And when they came, he was gone. David was hurt because he loved the king. It wasn't his fault God made him king. And now this man is trying to kill David. He's rising up and striking out at David without a cause. Because when people strike out at you sometimes and you've done no wrong, you know why? It's because of the battle they fight within themselves. Many times it's because of their own sin, their own ignorance. They've been vexed by spirit. They that walk after the flesh will attack and persecute those who walk after the spirit. That's why I say in churches you got church folk and you got saved folk. The saved folk walk in the Holy Ghost. Church folk, they just walk in the flesh, used to come to church, but they ain't living it right. And so everywhere David went, Saul tried to kill him. And David would wonder why. What have I done? You don't have to do anything for a devil to come at you. You don't have to do anything for envy and strife and jealousy to strike out at you. But you do have to do something not to give in to it. It takes strength to resist these things. And you don't want to allow the wretched character of others to cause you to lose your integrity. And Job sat there full of sores, bruises all over the place. His own wife said, man, why are you still trying to be saved? Curse your God and die. Job, all the pain, she didn't feel no pain, not like that. She didn't like the situation, but she wasn't hurting. Job was hurting. And she told Job, listen, curse your God and die. In his pain, he didn't talk foolishly. Amen. He said, you foolish woman, I can't do it. I'm hurting, but I can't let it change my heart. Thank you, Jesus. His friends came when they saw how wretched he was. They sat there for days and didn't speak. Oh, man, he's messed up. Oh, look at him. But Job said, I don't care what you think about me. I can't let you change my heart. And he ended up being blessed more than before. Because he didn't allow the ignorance of others to change his heart. And it hurt. But he kept his integrity. And this is what David was going through. Why are you trying to kill me? You're the father-in-law. What have I done? I had to run from place to place. He had to disguise himself and try to act like he was on the enemy side, and they didn't want him. And everywhere he went, Saul tried to kill him. Anybody Saul thought helped David, he killed them. But one day, 1 Samuel chapter 24, David and his men were in the wilderness in En-Gedi. And Saul heard about it. David's over here in the woods. David took 3 1,000 men, chosen men, to seek David out. And they went forth and they encamped in a place. And David was up on a hill. They said, David, look, King Saul. David, look who's down there. We got him. Now, David had the anointing. He had the right to kill Saul. God wasn't with Saul. He had the right to defend himself. And nobody would have said anything. Saul killed a whole tribe of preachers for helping David. But they didn't know David was running. And they said, we didn't know he was running from you. And he had them all killed. David and men said, we got him. All that talk. Every time he tried to kill you, got you running around like an animal. David, we can stop it right now. We can throw rail for rail. You know, you reap what you sow. He wants to kill you. Now we got him. And God is with us. David took a couple of his men and he went down into the camp. And because God was with David, see, when God is with you, you don't have to worry. He'll help fight your battles. When David went down, because God was with him, the Bible said that God put a deep sleep over the camp. They couldn't get up if they tried. And while they were sleeping, David took his sword and he took a piece of Saul's clothes, which was king, but God wasn't with him, and David cut a piece of his clothes off. And his men are ready to kill them all. But as soon as David cut a piece of his clothes off, something hit his heart. The Bible said his heart smote him. You ever said something and done something, but you didn't know how it was going to affect you? As soon as you did it, oh. You said you shouldn't have done that.
Yes, Lord.
You shouldn't have said that.
Yes, Lord.
Or you didn't mean to do that.
Yes, Lord. Amen.
Nobody saw it. People might have said you got it right, but your heart said you didn't.
Amen.
How many times have you said something but your heart said no?
Amen. Thank you, Jesus.
When the heart speaks. David's heart smote him. And David's men said, let's kill him. David said, no, put away your sword. Because that's not what I really want to do.
Come on. Preach.
That's not the way I really want to be.
Thank you, Jesus.
That's not what I really meant to say.
Yes.
But you said it with your mouth, but I'm not saying that in my heart.
Yes. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, Lord.
He's trying to kill you. I know, but in my heart, I don't want to hurt him.
Thank you, Jesus. My Lord Jesus. Glory.
You know, in my youth, I used to get upset and say what I'll do.
Glory to your name, Jesus.
And I did it. Being saved and young, you keep messing with me. I tell you what. And then the Lord said, why are you saying it if you know you really don't want to do it? So I stopped saying what I do.
Thank you, Lord God.
If I don't want to hurt you, no matter what you do to me, I'm not going to say I hurt you. Because why? I don't want to.
Amen.
Lord, help me to identify with my heart.
Yes.
No man knows the heart by themselves. The heart is wicked and deceitful. But God, you can help me to identify with my heart that I may live a righteous life and that I may be true to everybody around me. Oh, it's dangerous when you're going against your heart. You can hurt people. You can deceive people. You can destroy your own life because you're not being truthful with what's inside of you. But you shall be judged not just by what you say or what you do, but for what's in your heart.